In this video, I want to show you how to add and subtract matrices again. Remember that the only way to add or subtract a matrix is that they have to have the exact same dimensions. So before we start adding or subtracting, we always check the dimensions of the two matrices that we're trying to add. In this particular case, if we look at problem number 32, the first matrix is a 2 rows by 2 columns, and the second matrix is a 2 rows by 2 columns. Because of the exact same dimensions, we can add them. And remember, we add each element to each element. So in this case, we're going to add this first one. We'll add 6 to a negative 6, and we get 0. Then we'll add negative 2 plus 4. That's a positive 2. Then we'll add negative 5 plus a negative 3. That'll be negative 8. And then we'll add 1 plus 8, and we'll get 9. So again, remember, we're adding element to element. So E11 gets added to E11 in the second one. So it looks like our answer is going to be D. When we subtract, one of the easier things to do is to take the second matrix that we're subtracting and flip all the signs, and then we can just add it again. So first thing I'm going to do again is verify that I can add these two. This is a 2 rows by 3 columns and a 2 rows by 3 columns. So we can add them together again. And on the second one, I'm going to flip all the signs and make it the negative matrix. So I'm going to change that positive 2 to a negative 2, the negative 2 to a positive 2, negative 7 to a positive 7, negative 4 to a positive 4, negative 7 to a positive 7, and negative 6 to a positive 6. And then what I'm going to do, instead of doing the subtraction now, right here, I'm actually going to change that to addition and add it. So I'm adding the negative matrix. So I like to add more than to subtract. So when I see subtracting, I can always change that sign by changing the matrix in the back to a negative matrix. And now we just add elements again. And so we get this 7 minus 2, negative 2 plus 2, negative 2 plus a negative 7, 0 plus 4. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Let's come back and do this again, looking at the wrong matrix. Now that I have this, let's come back and do this again. Cross that out, look at that one. 7 minus 2 is 5. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 2 plus 7 is 5. 0 plus 4 is 4. Negative 8 plus 7, negative 1. And negative 8 plus 6, negative 2. So it looks like the answer there is going to be C. If we look at a problem like number 35, 35 makes us use metric equations to actually solve these. And remember though, in order to do it, the dimensions have to be the same. So we have a 2 by 2. We're going to add it to a 2 by 2. Now when I add it to this other 2 by 2, I should get back a 2 by 2. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add up the elements together. So in the first matrix, I'm going to get this. I'm going to write it out like this. I should get A plus 1. And when I add those up, they should equal to 3. Next one I'm going to do B plus 4. And those should equal 7. Then I do C plus 2. And that should equal negative 2. Then I do D plus A, or in this case D, we'll say minus 1. Because you have the minus there. And that should equal negative 1. So this is literally solving for equations now. You're just going to solve 4 different equations here. 4 equations are, the first one is A plus 1 is equal to 3. We can see subtract 1. We get A is equal to 2. Then you have B plus 4. Put it over here. B C plus 4 is equal to 7, so it looks like B is equal to a 3. C plus 2 is equal to negative 2, so C equals negative 4. And D minus 1 is equal to negative 1, so D is equal to 0. And so the matrix you've created for this is going to be, or A, B, C, and D should be equal to 2, 3, negative 2, and negative 4. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is problem like 37. You have numbers sitting in the front. We call those scalars, and all they mean to do is you're going to multiply each matrix by the scalar number. So for instance, that 2 sitting in the front, you're going to multiply every element in the matrix by 2. So you get negative 2, 14, positive 4, negative 8, minus, multiply the second matrix by 3. In this matrix, every number gets multiplied by 3. And when that happens, we're going to get these numbers here, which are, we're going to ignore that negative, and we'll handle in a second. So we'll make this a negative 15, negative 21, negative 12, and negative 6. Now, notice we still have this negative that was carried down from this here. So again, this just means to subtract. So when we subtract, what do? We go back and we're going to change all of these in this back matrix. We're going to change all of those into their opposites. So we'll look at the negative matrix. Make that a plus. This is 15, 21, 12, and 6.